Good evening. Yes, the microphone is on. I always panic that I've got it on mute when we start. Hello everyone. How are we all doing? 71 from the start. We got a crowd in tonight. And it is busy. There is so many submissions today. Thank you so much everyone. We've got so much to get through. We might not even have time to get through them all. I mean, look at this folder. That is just the M games. Let alone the show and tells. Good lord. Before I say hello to you all in the chat, notice Retrotech Ralph is on the screen. And I have unsubscribed for him just so I can have the satisfaction of taking that up to 1,000 subscribers. Should I? Shouldn't I? Go on then. Go on, let's just tickle that subscribe button. Should I click it? Go on then. Let's refresh that. There we go. Trollolololol. 1,000. Oh no, I've unsubscribed. I've unsubscribed, Ralph. Oh no. Oh, he's talking to me. Somebody else is subscribed now. I've lost the power. Damn you. Anyway, there's a link in the chat. That's Ralph's channel. How dare you spoil my fun. Let's get rid of all that. Right. So, we've got Retro Box Room, we've got Saint UK, we've got Ralphie says thank you everyone. We've got Bitter Blitter Castado, who sent videos in today. Alan Leon, my learned friend, our newest patron on the scene. Thank you so much for your support, sir. David Sutcliffe, Pillock, the Scotch Egg King, Alistair, we've got videos from you today. We've got the mighty Garrow Ninja, Rob DeLorean, Nosh Abroad, hello, Benjamin Bauer, Amiga, Bang, good name, and the subliminal Richard Shears, the psychotic Richard Shears, Derek at Flame Lily, hello, 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 hello everyone. Hope you're all well. Mumbo's here. Mumbo number 666. So let's dive into our videos today. We're going to start with the return to Castanos' cave, because it would appear that his broken leg has healed enough that he can get into this area. Either that or someone's carried him up the stairs, I don't know. Hello Ali. So let's have a look at what Castanos got for us today. Here we go.
Hello cave dwellers.
Hello Castado.
And this is my room tour. So let's go. Let's start with the GameCubes from left to right. A modded European system, a stock European system, and a stock Japanese
He hopped
system.
up the stairs.
On the next shelf we have a
Hello, Alan.
Super Famicom with flash card,
Nice.
a French 7800 with RGB output, and a Harmony flash card, a Mega Drive 2, and a Neo Geo CD set.
That's a fine looking machine, isn't it?
Next we have a modded Saturn.
Ooh la la,
Japanese
says
Saturn,
David.
a Tower of Power,
A Tower of Power. Nice. What's this over here? I'm sure he would tell us. No?
Dreamcast, PC Engine, Duo RX.
Nice.
When we get to the lower shelves, a modded PlayStation 2 Slim, the original Analog NT. This is the one with the NES hardware inside.
You've got every kind of analog system going, haven't you? You've bought them all.
A modded PS1, French ColecoVision with
Thank you,
RGB,
Ali.
output as well, and an Ultimate SD card for ColecoVision.
Nice.
This is a Master System with an EverDrive, specifically for playing SG-1000 games. And then we have an Intellivision, a Philips MSX2.
Gotta have his Philips in there. We know Castado loves
And
Philips after his quiz round based entirely on Philips.
Sonic Pong. And next in the cabinet, a Philips VideoPack G7000. And on the bottom shelf, a Intertone VC4000 with flash card. Yes, even this obscure system has a flash card. It's amazing. Then there's the Jaguar, NES, Wii, modded with external hard disk.
So in Holland, you said NES there. Is that the norm? You're not NES, you're NES, like the Americans.
PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, V-Smile, a modded PlayStation 2 connected to component video for the few HD games that the PlayStation 2 supports. Original Xbox. On the shelf below that are a CD32 and Japanese 3DO. Next again a Nintendo shelf, AV Famicom with disk system, a Japanese N64 with EverDrive, and a PAL SNES with Super Game Boy. On the bottom shelf we have an 800XL with a My IDE 2 and a C64C with the ultimate cartridge in the back. So, now this is my Heavy Sixer, Sears Telegames edition, Atari ST, 1040 ST FM.
It goes on and on.
1200, Toast Rack, and a 6182. So every system in the room is connected and ready to go. RGB systems are connected directly to these RGB SCART switches. If a system outputs a different standard, then it's going to one of these switch boxes first, and behind the television is a composite to RGB converter. And also the RGB output is then routed through a distribution amplifier, so I can power my TVs as well as the capture devices and the OSSC and frame.
I'm sure he knows exactly what every switch does.
On the other side of the room is my workstation, and I keep a few games here. I collect mainly for playing purposes, so I don't care that much about
Lethal Enforcer's gun up there.
And complete. So I have here quite a large collection of Atari 2600 games. Some Intellivision titles, mostly loose.
So this is why I always see you in the sales hall at the expos, scouring under the tables, all the baskets, because you don't mind getting the loose cartridges. You're looking for these bargains, aren't you?
This is a box of Famicom titles, and here's a smaller box of Famicom titles as well. And then we have a proper CH flight stick.
Oh, I have the same.
For the flight stick
Nice.
aficionados. And down the back here, the CH throttle control. Also, a Hori Relocate Pro joystick with real Sanwa parts.
Genuine Sanwa arcade
story.
parts.
Oh, and almost forgot, in the corner we have a Densha to Go type.
There you go, Alan. There's your Densha to Go.
In Manchester last year. And there's some light guns for the Saturn, for the Mega CD, and for the PlayStation 3. I have some more light guns stored in drawers, but I won't take them out now. There's a Game Gear and a Wii Tatsunoko versus Capcom arcade stick. Next, some more video processing hardware.
Oh, okay.
Intellivision games, Vectrex Homebrew, some
Give
Atari
me my
2600
pancake.
games, one of which is pretty special. It's Give Me My Pancake. It's a homebrew title by Mr. Atari, and it's one of 40 named copies, so it has my name on the gameplay screen, and there's 40 people
That's
who
cool.
have such a copy as well. Then Vectrex games, some more Vectrex homebrew,
Wow.
Atari 7800. If you have Vectrex games, then you will need a Vectrex to play them on. So here's my Vectrex. And to the right is a spinner controller for the Vectrex, the Vector Patrol homebrew, and a Video Pack flash card.
The machine that's
Programmable
impossible
via
to
serial
film.
interface. I'm in the lucky circumstance that I have an extra room to store my extra systems, games, and other stuff in.
Tape measures,
Um,
Scotch eggs.
Here it is.
Whoa.
I won't go through it now because this video would be too long, way too long. Okay, thanks for watching.
What?
Bye-bye.
You can't just leave there. That's incredible. Look at that room. I mean, the first room was stunning enough, but you can't just... Oh, yeah, and there's this other room. Anyway, bye. We need a follow-up video. We definitely need a follow-up video on that. Part 2 coming up. Perfect. That's what we need. I love it. Yeah, game room. Bye. Well, I'm seeing Dreamcast. I'm seeing PlayStation 3, 2, Xbox. I might ask what's on the top shelf. We've got handhelds. And we've got the exercise bench where Castado does all of his keep fit there. Well, we're off to a great start there with Castado's tour. We've got a couple more tours, but I think we need to give some space between the other tours and that, just to give people a chance, you know. So let's dive into RM games. And I'll just go from the top, I think. Starting with Chris. Oh no. Okay, so Chris says, I've already sent you Mercenary in another email and my memories of it. Chris, I can't see that email for some reason, but Mercenary would be my choice of game. Paul Wokes, Mercenary, wireframe. You crash down onto the planet and you have to escape. Amazing game. On 8-bit and 16-bit machines, it was just as good. But he's also sent in this. He says, I feel like your videos for the letter B were lacking somewhat. B being B for Barbarian. And he says, but it's okay because M is for Maria Whittaker. Escape from Targ, that's right. Thank you, Richard. Hello, Laura. M is for Maria Whittaker, he says. The first photo is of the actual game from my 10-star games pack. So these are all his 10-star games. And then he's given us a close-up. It's our first tape measure of the night. Hello, Gizmo. Come on in. M is for Mary Whitehouse. That's right. So there we go. On to Dana. Now, Dana is our window into the world of weird and wonderful Japanese games. She really is a font of knowledge. So I'll read the text. She says, I've sent you this a tad early today because I'm feeling under the weather and might not be around to catch the stream. So, Dana, if you catch this later, do get well soon. And I'm sure all of the chat will wish you the best. First, I couldn't resist gathering up another all-time favourite series for M, the Mana series. Mana series. Dana, I always pronounce the things you send me wrong. I know. But at least I get your name right now. This is actually almost all of them, missing only a PS2 game which never had a PAL release. It hasn't been given the same love as Square Enix's bigger brand, but it's always a wonderful, colourful fantasy adventure. Gizmo wants to go out now. Next, a game you've probably never heard of. Is it this one? I can't tell, it's in Japanese. Yes, it is. Okay, let's bring that on the screen. It's called Marvelous, Another Treasure Island. This game is very much like Zelda, A Link to the Past, so if you enjoy that game, it's worth giving it a try. There's a high-quality English fan translation available. What makes this special is that it was the first game directed by the man who is currently in charge of the Zelda series. Oh, that's a nice bit of history. Marvelous, Another Treasure Island. I won't make you pronounce his name. You know me so well, Dana. Having proven himself with this title, he was handed the reins to Zelda and brought us every game in the series from Ocarina of Time to the present. Good factoid. Yes, Pillock, we must have a post-lockdown road trip to Castado's house. Facts, says Ian. Facts. And finally a bonus, just because I thought everyone would get a real kick out of it. Haha. I'm sure there will be a couple of Mega Man submissions, but I doubt many of you are aware of Mega Man Soccer. I've never been much of a sports game fan, so I can't tell you if it's any good, but I am amused by its existence, and I thought you good folk might be too. So, thank you, Dana.
Congratulations!
Rockman Soccer. Can't be any worse than sensible soccer, right? We all know kickoff is the best. Moving on. Oh, go away, Wolf. Put your tape measure back in your pants. Okay, next up. We have got videos and we've got pictures coming up, but this is another picture round. Speaking of which, thank you to everyone who joined the quiz on Saturday over on Twitch. It was another roaring success. More outrageous mashups and great rounds from you all, so thank you. Sorry for the late submission. I tried looking for this game all weekend but came empty-handed, but I did find an extra Dreamcast that I didn't know I had, says Daniel. Always a bonus. This is probably one of my favourite fighting games ever due to its large roster of 56 and its over-the-top hyper combos. These are Marvel vs. Capcom 2. We've got Spider-Man there. I'm still not forgiven for using Glee. Sorry about that. First time I saw Marvel vs. Capcom was on an arcade in some pub somewhere, and I was drawn to it because it was a huge cabinet, and to see those Marvel characters appear, next to the, I was going to say, it's not Marvel vs. Street Fighter, it's Marvel vs. Capcom, but the Street Fighter characters are in it. So to see that mashup was really interesting and pulled off so well. But I'm terrible at fighting games, and you know, I can never pull off the combos. I could never even do the fatalities on Mortal Kombat. So I'm jealous of people who can play fighting games well, but it's not my genre. Right, next up we've got David. We've got a couple of Davids. Oh, this is a video and text. I'll just read the text first before we go into the video. He says, thought I'd put together something for Monday's RMC Diaries, a small video about M games. I can't believe how many takes I did for a 3-minute video. There's his setup. I have a whole new appreciation for the work and skill you have in producing the videos you do. Well, thank you, David. It's nice to be appreciated. You got your bitmap books, Neo Geo book down there, your Mega CD. So I presume these things will be appearing in the video, but nice little setup. Let's watch the video. Now these are mugs from my shop. Dave got this one for himself. And for his other half, Minister of Interior Affairs. That was a custom mug just for them.
Hello, Cave Dwellers.
Hello,
Dave
David.
Sutcliffe here. Get ready for a marvellous miscellany beginning with the letter M. Brought to you today from the Dave Cave, with the able assistance of the Minister of Interior Affairs.
Oh, hands everywhere. So many hands.
First title today is a classic from back in the Spectrum days. Monty is Innocent.
Oh, I'm glad we got some
I'm always a
Monty.
big fan of the Monty series, especially of Fidesain Monty, but that begins with an A, so I guess we'd better move on. Sega Master System Power Base. This is one I picked up fairly recently. It's a very nice looking console indeed.
This is some great teamwork.
I'm lucky enough to also own a Master System 2 Power Base, which I recently picked up from fellow cave dweller It's an Arse. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Jack.
In terms of the games, I've only got the one M game for the Master System, Marble Madness. Fiendishly hard, but also very enjoyable, I think.
I agree. Very good game.
Moving on to the Sega Mega Drive, sitting on top of the Mega CD Mark 1 there, which you can't really see. Another excellent system. Michael Jackson's Moonwalker.
Shimon.
This is the title that I remember as one that the system was demonstrated with when you were walking through Dixon's. And I always thought, I'd really like to own one of those one day.
It didn't have any MJ
Mortal
sounds.
Kombat, another very nice game.
Oh, yes.
Micro Machines 2. A bit special this one, because the cartridge allows you to plug extra controllers into it. Excellent.
Factorn.
And a bit of an artistic license here. Mega Games 2. Streets of Rage and Golden Axe are two of my most... Well, two of the titles that I think are excellent.
That is actually a hell of a compilation, isn't it? Shinobi, Streets of Rage and Golden Axe on one cartridge. That is a lot of good gaming in one package.
So that's the reason I thought I'd include it. If we move on here to my single and only Mega CD cartridge, or Mega Game even, hopefully one day I might actually be able to increase my collection. But of course I need to rely on the approval of the Minister of Interior Affairs. Ha, Bonza. Looks like we're in business.
Yes.
If we move on to a slightly more modern system on the PlayStation, this is one of my original games, Motor Racer 2. Not that I've played it for a very long time, but I seem to remember it being enjoyable.
It was also out on the PC, and I remember it was one of those early 3DFX supported games. The first one didn't have dirt bikes like you've got on the there. I don't think it did anyway. But very enjoyable.
And Metal Gear Solid.
That wasn't my
You can do a
soundboard.
series of M-series games without including it. It was the first title that I played all the way through. It was very enjoyable indeed. The next title, in this instance, is more of a book about the title, which is the Metal Slug series. Unfortunately, I imagine, like many other dwellers, a platform I don't currently own, but one day I might be able to buy one. Oh well.
Denied.
Not this time, but a man can dream, can't he?
Denied.
And finishing up today, an absolute classic, the Munster joystick. Genuine Samurai arcade parts inside there.
Look at it.
Some excellent clicky buttons.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, guys. Take care.
Need I say it? MunsterJoysticks.com. If you don't have a Munster joystick or a Munster joystick mini, you need one in your life. Thank you, David. Thank you to the Minister of Interior Affairs. That was slick. That was super slick. Well done, guys. Really enjoyed that. I might just release that this Thursday as my RMC video. Stick my logo in the top corner, job done. You guys are pushing the quality of each other up. Mini Munster, Lily, that's right. And it's David Sutcliffe there in the chat, is the very man. So thank you, David. Next up, it's the return of David C. Do you remember? He keeps sending us these, and I love them when I get on the screen. His animated creations from Manic Miner. And also this one. Alan, we've got so many today. If there's time, I'll pull your late submission out of the inbox. If not, we'll show it tomorrow, mate. These are cool, aren't they? Get those on your shelves with some RGB lighting behind them. So David says if there was a killer app for the ZX Spectrum in 1983, it was probably Manic Miner. Our local John Menzies had a Spectrum in their Christmas window display that year, and it was running Manic Miner in demo mode. I remember my mates and I drooling over the amazing looking graphics as we passed the shop each day on our way to school. I saved up my pocket money and bought the game in late November 1983. It was my very first Spectrum game, though I didn't actually have anything to play it on at that point. I had to wait another month for Santa to bring me a Specky of my own. Longest 4 weeks ever. Of course, this was the first game I loaded up on Christmas morning. Great times. Who remembers John Menzies? I used to go to John Menzies in Weymouth. They always had a good computer game section. And he's also sent in this, where he sent in some text and pictures. He says, this one is for the big manual fans. 280 pages, Dave, and over ½ an inch thick. He's even measured it for you, mate. He says, I played the original M1 tank platoon in 1998. Fantastic game, brilliant manual, but it was a struggle to try remembering all the controller thingies, which may have helped a bit. But I was never able to find one in the shops. Oh, this is the sequel, M1 Tank Platoon 2. Do you know what? Tank games, tank simulations work really well. But we just don't seem to have them anymore. I guess there's World of Tanks. That's the main one, I guess. But that's kind of a bit weird. You're kind of going into pay-to-play territory, aren't you? We had Chuti Putha, thank you for the subscription. We had Menzies down in the south. I used to go to John Menzies. So I've got some more choices here. Okay. So I've been sent a YouTube gaming video and some text. So I'll bring the video up on the screen. While I read the text. This is from Ino, or Eno. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. E-I-N-O. Was his name O. Here's my submission for letters. For the letter M, it's Mine Bombers. A Finnish shareware game from about 1996. It's a versus style game where you play against your friends trying to find treasure digging around a mine, and also to bomb your said friends into a tiny red splat. The game is somewhat like the Bomberman series, only a good bit more European in flavour, so to speak. So I guess there's player 1, there's player 2. Oh, there's another one down there. Equally interesting with the game itself is the way you obtain these games. You download the shareware version from a BBS. God, that was a big explosion. Played it and enjoyed it with your friends. Put a 20 Finnish mark note in an envelope and sent it to the developer, and then you got a floppy back in the mail with the latest registered version and some extra features. It seems that these versus type games were a Finnish shareware scene speciality in the 90s. He's also sent another link with a bit of the title screen. There we go. I've not heard of Mine Bombers, but it looks like an addictive little game, doesn't it? Never played it. Looks nice. Brazar, thank you for the subscription. Oh, you're in the chat there. Hello, sir. You included a picture of the floppy. You sent me a picture of your floppy. Let me have a look. Oh, that's the Dropbox. Sorry. For some reason, I just assumed that was a link to the actual floppy image. I thought I better not share that on the stream. Ah, here it is. So here is the floppy, and it's registered with his name written on there. Almost as good as Castanos' custom Atari 2600 cartridge. Where is my pancake? Or something to do with pancakes. Oh, it's trying to play the next video. Stop that. Next up, it's our good friend Mark Heslop, who I really hope has used his DJ voice, because sometimes Mark uses a DJ voice, sometimes he doesn't, and it makes me immensely happy when he does. Let's see if we've got Mark. Oh, he's done titles. Oh, fantastic. Let's hear that voice.
So we have the Commodore 64 selection here.
He's somewhere in the middle. He's holding back on the DJ, but it's going to bust out. I know it's going to break out. Come on.
Oh, mouse and cheese. Followed by the Commodore VIC-20 selection. Nice.
Nice.
Then the Dragon selection.
Oh, Dragon
Okay,
cartridges.
2 carts of the same thing. It's cheating. And the Spectrum collection.
Oh, Chapter 1.
1980, Mission Impossible by Scott Adams.
Great camera work.
And he packed so much in the cartridge, you have to type in the sys command yourself. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's
You
my
liked the
Scott.
air horn, did you? Mickey the Bricky.
1981, Mickey the Bricky. Mathematics 1 and 2.
Oh, come on.
I might skip
M
it.
for mathematics. I mean, yeah, it's fine, but did anyone get excited about mathematics software?
Martian Raider 1982.
One-handed skills, Mark. That is proper homemade homebrew, isn't it? The developer's made his own tapes, put his own stickers on there.
Multi-sound synthesizer 1982.
Will we hear it?
Great.
Don't force the enthusiasm, Mark.
1982 Mole Attack. (1983) Mutant Herd. So now on to my wonderful Commodore 64C, which has the beautiful Lumafix installed. Maggot Mania 1983.
You found the most ridiculous selection of games starting with M, haven't you? Maggot Mania. I think I've actually got a copy of this, but I've never loaded it.
Maggot Mania. Press F1 to start.
He has, Reese. He has gone into full DJ. He can't contain the DJ.
Munchman 64 1983.
There's the voice. £7.95 in 1983. What's that? That's like 30 quid or something, isn't it? In today's money. That is an astonishing amount of money for a cassette tape game in 83. Come on.
Pretty good. Battle for Midway.
That's a B.
1984. Mouse and Cheese 1985. Molecule Man,
Okay.
1986.
Pillock says £7.95 is £28 today. £28 for a Pac-Man knockoff in 83 is a lot of money. Right you are, Alistair. That looks good.
1986. Meltdown.
Come on, Mark. Countdown to Meltdown. This is a C.
Oh. Might have helped if I'd read the instructions there. 1987.
Wasn't the
Mean
fastest
Streak,
looking football game.
87.
87. Oh yeah, I like the look of that one.
Midnight Resistance, 1989.
Yeah, it's a classic. Looks good on the
Miami
C64.
Chase, 1991.
There won't be any M games left by the time Mark's finished. Professional bingo caller. Mark, are you in the chat?
And finally, Metroids for the Dragon 32, 1982.
So asteroids then. There he is. There's Mark in the chat. Mark Heslop. Finn. Thank you, Mark. Please, Mark, keep sending them in. I want more. Ah, there we go. What do we got next? We've got to bash through them because we've got so many. We've got Mumbo next. Yeah, this is a record. We're tapping on 300 viewers. So thank you everyone for joining today. If you're new here, this is a daily vlog where we're going through letters of the alphabet. Today is the letter M. Viewers send in their game to retromancave@gmail.com or their show and tell or their cave tours, and we just watch them together every day while we're all shut in. So the next one is Mumbo. He sent in some hardware and he sent in some games. Let's just bring the first game up on the screen for you. This is Magic Crayons. Let's do it in the style of Mark. Magic Crayons is from, I haven't got a year, let's just say 1992. From Pico Storyware. I'm nowhere near as good as Mark, am I? And he hasn't given any details on this. But we have got the back of the box. Well, that's the other one. There we go. Looks like a kid's game. Well, the Pico was a kid's console, wasn't it? A yellow cartridge and a tablet. I bet I could get a magic crayon stuck up my nose. Mickey's Blast into the Past, so we had some Disney licensing going on. Create and animate your own picture. And then we got some hardware as well. There's the cartridges themselves. Oh, it's like a cartridge with a book. Let's zoom in enhance. Like a storybook built into the cartridge. Is that how these work? I really haven't used a Pico. I've seen them at expos and things, but I've not taken that much notice. Oh, that's cool. There's the Mickey one. Oh, I see. Maybe, is it that you plug it into the cartridge slot and then this overlays on the tablet? Maybe? Anyway, he's also sent in a Satek M for Mega Master. That looks pretty good. I could get on board with that. And of course, M for Menacer. It looked great. It had a 6-game cartridge. There weren't many other games that supported it. Always the way with hardware that wasn't standard, that wasn't bundled. I do need to look up Sega Pico information, Mumbo. Yeah, I had a friend who had this, and I think they had a Terminator game as well. It might have been the Terminator. It might be the arcade game port. Yeah, I mean, I liked it, but there were so few games. Questionable as to its worth. And this was for the Super Nintendo, this joystick. There we go, thank you Mumbo. Sorry about my lack of Pico knowledge, but fascinating to see the cartridges. T2 Arcade, that's right, Rob. Next up, it's my learned friend, David. He's got a video for us. And I'll just read, shall I read what he said first? I don't want to give you any spoilers. Just want to say I'm a long-term fan of the channel, and the daily vids have been a highlight for me in otherwise difficult times for so many of us. I'm still very much working from home, and the vids have been a welcome relief. You're most welcome, David. I felt I should contribute something to the channel rather than just being a spectator, so I did some short videos. Mahir Sports, thank you for the subscription. I've done one for the letter M and one for the letter T. Yeah, I've downloaded both of them. I'm only sad that I don't have a copy of Moonshine Racers, which was mentioned on the channel a few videos ago. I'd completely forgotten about that game, and it would have been a good M. It really would have. And I'm going to be investigating Patreon as a way to support the channel. It's a great community, it really is, and I'm pleased to be a part of it. Well, we're pleased to have you as a part of it. Thank you for taking the time to send in a video. Let's have a little watch. Let's see what we got here.
Hello Cave Dwellers. With the letter M coming up, I didn't want it to pass without mention of a game which took a lot of my time, and that's MSR, or Metropolis Street Racer, on the Dreamcast. I remember being blown away when I first saw this.
I think this is the same team. This went on to become Project Gotham, didn't it?
And along with Soul Calibur, it became one of the reasons.
Sorry, almost missed. We've got a value tape measure, 3 meters or 10 foot, and a Bosch, some kind of laser measure or something. So, there we go.
For me to go and get a Dreamcast. Looks really good, fantastic soundtrack, and still, for my money, one of the best arcade racers out there. And of course, Bizarre Creations. You see that? Bizarre Creations. Who did this, then went on to produce all the Project Gotham racing games for the Xbox and the 360, which are also games which I've got very fond memories. And this game, to my mind, still very much holds up.
Yeah, it was a great game on a great console. Now, Project Gotham Racing, I was very proud on the Xbox 360 to be the second fastest in the world on the London circuit. I just got obsessed with this one track and played it over and over and over again, and I could never get the #1 spot, but I got the second spot. And I would always say that I was the fastest because I was probably the only person in sort of top 100 playing it on a 14-inch CRT, because that's all I had room for in my bedroom, whereas everyone else was on their big, massive televisions and flat screens. Maybe that CRT gave me a bit of a lag advantage, I don't know. So apparently somebody has said I am trending on the live stream section on YouTube. So who knows how that's happened, but hello, welcome everyone. We're talking retro games. We're visiting each other's collections virtually and just sharing the love of gaming. So do join in on the chat. What's next? It's Paul Kitchen, the man who is destined to win the Saturday night quiz. Mate, you just haven't got there yet. It's going to happen. I believe in you. Here's his M games. M, it says, for Manic Miner. Yeah, on the Spectrum and the C64. Can't see any difference in the artwork there. We've seen this tape measure before. It's still going strong, but come on, it's on its last legs. Good mug. Good mug. That's not one of mine because I don't have the rights to use that image. I wish I did. Nerds United. Yeah, that's right, Ralph. There's the tapes. The Specky's got a white one for some reason. Oh, nice. Other side of the mug. M for mug. There's M for measurements. There you go. We've got a Rubik's Cube there as well. Monty on the Run, so that we've got another Monty. £9.95, but do you know what? compared to that Munchman, even though that was expensive back then, it was worth it just for Rob Hubbard's music. I say. Great game. Rock hard. All of the measurements. Kelly, thank you for the subscription. And of course, it had to happen. M for Mist by Rand and Robin Miller. And M for Mogwai. There you go. Gizmo, my cat's namesake. We've got a Mist mug as well. Must really like Mist, Paul. If you like Mist, you will... if you like Mist, then you will like this Thursday's video, in which, well, Thursday to patrons, a week Thursday to everyone else, in which I investigate. It's like a nearly a 30-minute long video. It was supposed to be a tech nibble, but it's ended up being that long. The very first games that were ever released on CD. Myst is not one of the very first, but it's certainly one of the games that put CD-ROM on the map. And its predecessor, The Manhole, was also by Rand and Robin Miller. And that is in the running to be one of the first, but I won't spoil the episode because there's some nice surprises in there. But Myst really did put CD-ROM on the map. Thank you, Paul, and good luck in next week's quiz. If you want to do a retro computer and gaming quiz, twitch.tv/TheRetroManCave every Saturday night while we're all shut in. Music rounds, picture rounds, Scotch egg rounds, it's all good fun. 400 watching? Good God. Hello everyone. Do take a moment to subscribe if you'd like to. Next up, it's Chris of 005 Agama, or Amiga 500 backwards. Oh yes, he did mention that he'd sent this in, but I'd already downloaded it earlier. So he said, just a photo for this one. This game, once I got my head around it, was all I thought about each day at school. Do you remember that? Did you have those games? For me, it was this, and it was also Ultima 7. Did you have a game that you took the manuals to school with you and you were just obsessed with it? Just trying to either figure it out or thinking about the lore of the game or what you would do next. Anyway, he says, I couldn't wait to get home for more exploration. So much time and graph paper. Completed Escape from Targ back in the day, but I never did the second city. I guess that's a wrong I need to right.
I'll get you there.
Ralph used to see Alien vs Predator on the Jaguar when he closed his eyes. We've got... Oh, okay. It's time for Richard. Always the highlight of the stream. Let's see what Richard's got for us today.
That's a lot of love. Hello, Cave Brothers, and welcome to my man cave here. You just caught me
Hang on.
measuring my
He's got tape measure earrings.
love for Commodore Amiga. Anyway, today we have a massive
Derek Findas, 5 points.
list of games for you. They're marvellous. So, without further ado,
This is a great choice. And yeah, up here, RockyBurgan.com, it makes these papercraft computers, so you can, you know, if you haven't got room to collect retro computers, you can download and print his papercraft and do origami computers like this. They're really cool. But Midwinter, awesome, not awful, awesome game. I liked it so much better than the sequel, which was set in a tropical world. I really liked this dystopian future set in wherever it was, the North Pole or the South Pole, because it just worked. The graphics, the simple plain graphics worked better for me than the tropical graphics. Just a great game. There, you can see it on the screen. Oh, this is what we were talking about earlier. This was great. I didn't know that, Ian. Thank you. There's a comic book based on Midwinter. Oh, Moto Racer. See, I said earlier it didn't have scrambling, but clearly it does.
Oh, well done.
Forgot that.
Oh, Shepard. Well done. Race completed.
Ah, there's Mercenary. Scotch egg.
Congratulations.
Flight sim. Air horn for the flight sims. Oh. Now this is a classic. Motorhead, 3DFX supported, banging soundtrack. This was up there with Screamer 2 for me. Really made use of the fact that our new 3DFX GPUs could do reflections. Everything was reflective. It was great. More Scotch eggs. Oh, Motorstorm. That was one of the earliest PlayStation 3 releases, wasn't it? Oh, Asnavor, Mavis Beacon. Please, I hope someone's picked Mavis Beacon. We've got an Andrew down here on the Alan Sugar book. Sugary! Oh, we've got a Gary on the SimCity. Hang on, where's Gary? There he is. Here we go. Ah, we've got so many details. I've only just realised the backdrop is the cave. This is ripped from my channel. So many details Richard puts in his videos. But yeah, MDK was great. Another 3DFX one. Hello, Dance Mom nerds.
Everybody.
Oh god, no, not Sue. Not Sue.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, thank you, Sue. Thank you, Richard. We've even got an RMC disc box down there.
Checkpoint.
Ah. Let's have our music back. See, with a badge on. I know, that must be Richard's own Sue puppet. He must do them himself. Bang a logo on it, slap it out there, that's right. Come on, Gizmo wants to come back in the room. You coming in, mate? Yeah, come on then. So, that was Richard. Just to calm us down a little bit, we've got some more pictures from Tim. This is Tim number 2, because we've got 2 Tims. I've got another video, a Tim video to come, but Tim sent in some pictures. He's sending M for Microcomputer Bench Test Special from Personal Computer World. Special issue magazine for £1.50. Britain's largest selling microcomputer title brings you comprehensive bench tests on 25 leading microcomputers. So that would have been things like how to calculate pi or whatever in BASIC, so you could run it and then calculate how many seconds it took for your computer to do it, and then run it on another machine and see which was the quickest. I'd like to get a copy of that. Here's some M games. All of the Mists. I've played some of these. Oh, some good tape measure action up there. Can't remember which one it was. It might have been this one. Uru. One of them tried to be multiplayer, so that you were going through a single player experience, but you would come across other people that were doing the same challenges, and you could either disable all conversations with them, so they were just people running around, or you could interact with them. It was a halfway house that didn't really work fully as a single player experience or as a multiplayer experience. But yeah, Mist had to evolve in some way, didn't it? It couldn't always be a pre-rendered selection of videos that you just clicked through. It had to at some point become 3D. And I think the playing field got leveled. Mist had that huge early advantage in being the first at what it was. Everything caught up, and then I think it found it difficult to set itself apart. Best kind of multiplayer, yeah, the kind when you can't talk to anyone. Now Tim has also sent us in a huge collection of pictures of his operating system collection. What I'm going to do, Tim, is I'm going to put that into tomorrow's folder right now, because we've got so much today. Oh, that's not what we want just yet. It's N tomorrow, and we will take a look at that tomorrow. Right, back to today's videos. We got down to Richard. Oh, okay, it's Jack, aka It's an Ass. He sent in a video. See what he's got for us. Jack is a younger cave dweller. See what he brings to the table.
Cave dwellers, there's a bit of a last minute video. Here's my submission.
Good strong northern accent.
Game for today is Cameo. I believe this was a release title on the Xbox 360.
Hello, I may have downloaded this a little late.
It was one of the first games I actually played on the
We're
Xbox
not on K
360,
anymore.
though I didn't buy it when it was new. You can pick this up in CX for like £1 or so. It's a bit of a sort of, I wouldn't say open world, but you're rolling around in like a level, and you've got different powers and stuff, and it is quite fun. I'll show you a bit of gameplay. Let's see what we can get up to here.
Nice telly.
About the camera.
Sorry, Dave.
Start without saving.
Xbox 360's retro, right? I think it is.
The graphics are pretty good for the first 360 title. I know Perfect Dark Zero, was it? On the 360, that was a launch title as well, and it wasn't graphically any better than the original Xbox, I thought. Let's try and skip through it. It's a nice game. I don't know if it's highly regarded or anything.
Custado says no, 360 is not retro yet.
Definitely a good one for if you've got any young kids, because it's just so much fun. And I can't skip this, but
Hey, look, he is a proper northern lad. I was lucky enough to meet him at Play Expo Blackpool.
there we go.
In a car park with his mates, and I didn't know his name was Jack, so it was a case of, oh, you must be Mr. Arse. Hello.
Lots of different characters that all get bound to like different keys. I think A, X, and going down or up here. A, X, Y, and B. So you can switch between different characters, and some of them might die during.
You can see your reflection in the screen there. It's a good job you've got your clothes on, got your trousers on.
Here we go.
We don't want any embarrassing mishaps.
But sound with picture would be nice.
A CRT does so much for a picture on an older video game. Just to smooth those edges. Looks great.
Now I have to fight these buddies. I can remember what the controls are. Oh, there we go. So this is a bit of a, well, they call it a creeper, but it's a triffid, isn't it? I can punch people with it. There's also different actions. Like, I think one of the characters can actually turn into a ball and roll around, a bit like that dude in Metroid. There we go.
Yeah, filming CRTs is a pain. It's so hard to get your camera in sync with it.
yeah, fun title on the Xbox 360. That's my entry for K, and as a bonus, K for kebab. Cave Dwellers.
K for kebab. You can have 10 points for that. Straight into our next one. It's Chris with his M game. I hope it's an M game this time.
Good evening, Cave Dwellers. It's Chris here again.
Chris is a little bit quiet, so I'm just going to knock the volume up. What should we give him? Let's give him 8. Oh, checkpoint, 8 decibels. Let's go.
Tonight I am presenting to you Grandstands.
Oh, I think we need a bit more. Very quiet, Chris. Let's give him... As you can tell, the soundboard is mapped to my numpad.
Good evening, Cave Dwellers. It's Chris here again.
That's a bit loud,
tonight I am presenting to you.
For goodness sake, I've got to get this audio right. I'm sorry. Let's go for 15. I think I just blew your ears off. Sorry, everyone. I just want to hear it. Excuse the snort.
Good evening, Cave Dwellers.
Okay,
it's Chris here again. Tonight I am presenting to you Grandstands Munchman. This is one of those games which I had when I was a child and really loved the game. It's very simple. The the layout of the course is not quite how it is in the proper Pac-Man, but this is it's probably as good as a course approximation you get. Even kind of has the shape of Pac-Man in its design. One of the main things I like about the game is its challenge. So
is it still too loud? It's not peaking on my VU now. Is this okay?
So there's a high score mechanic.
Looks good on my screen.
The ability to collect the cherries to bonus points. There's two power balls there.
Sorry, everyone's
eardrums.
eardrums.
To chase the ghosts that have them once you have it, I should say. And the thing that really caught me when first playing this is the introduction music.
Oh, the soundboard.
It is, for me, really just very nostalgic when I hear it again. And there was also eventually someone obviously loved the game more than I did and programmed up a VBA version of it, or Visual Basic version of it, and I imagine it's somewhere out there on the internet. And they sampled the design of the unit and the music, and basically just got the gameplay down exactly right. But it's not quite the same as actually using the physical one.
I think I've played this at Mark's house. He was Mark
get it out one-handed. It's quite in tidy condition. I bought this on eBay probably about 10-15 years ago. I've weighed it twice since then, which is how it goes normally. Uses the power clearly. And let's just have a quick look at the instruction manual.
Oh, how many pages?
Not a very big one. 4 pages.
Oh, only 4.
That's what
That's
she said anyway.
isn't it?
And the next thing I've got to show you is this bad boy. Now, I'm classing this as the be-all and end-all of manuals.
Size of it.
Look at the size.
Okay,
of
that makes up for the 4 pages.
It is the biggest, bestest manual ever. Sorted by a young chap called Michael Abrash, who I believe now is at Valve. Not Valve, he was at Valve, and he's now at Facebook working on the Oculus Rift stuff. Obviously he was working with John Carmack again of Doom fame, and well, possibly 1 or 2 other games. You might have heard of them anyway. So I think what we need to do is just have a quick measure of the book. Yeah, it's good size.
Good measuring. How thick is it though?
That's a good size as well, but let's go for the most important, the girth.
Got to measure the girth.
Oh yes,
over 3
inches.
inches.
Sure, that's the last thing you need to know is just how many pages this manual is, and it really is a manual. And there you go, 1,342 pages.
Beast.
Did include a CD. I have it somewhere, possibly over there. Who knows? Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.
Well, how many pages was that? Because you guys, we're going to struggle to beat this one. All right, let me just set. Right, the audio has been reset, by the way. Don't worry about your ears. That was 1,342 pages. It's the biggest manual featured yet, and 3 inches of girth. The gauntlet has truly been thrown down. Next, it's Parallax Abstraction. Ooh. This looks like an interesting M game. What do you got for us?
Hey, what's up, Cave Dwellers? It's Parallax Abstraction here. Forgive the vertical video this time, but I think you'll agree it probably makes a little bit more sense. So last time I showed you the collector's edition of World in Conflict, and this is another collector's edition item, and probably the coolest one I've ever gotten for a couple of reasons. I'll explain why. So yeah, this is the PS3 version of Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, which was the hilariously named but really, really awesome Metal Gear inspired action game that came out for the 360 and the PS3. I think it's on PC as well. I love this game. It is really, really good. The funny part about this is I wasn't even supposed to get this. I pre-ordered at a discount back before this came out. Oh, hi, Momo. That's the cat that likes to sleep on my desk beside me while I work. So yeah, I pre-ordered the regular edition of this at a discount a number of years ago from a long-defunct Canadian electronics retailer called Future Shop. And for whatever reason, when this came out, they sent me... Kitty, come on. They sent me the collector's edition at no extra charge. And I emailed them about it, and they were like, nah, just keep it, it's fine, no point in sending it back. I was like, okay. But this thing has probably the coolest piece of collector's edition swag I've ever gotten. And it's this thing.
Oh, nice.
Wait for it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is the coolest friggin' thing. So it's one of those, I don't know what you call these, but it's like one of those lightning electricity lamp things. And, you know, you can do this with it, and it makes your hair stand up and that whole bit.
Does anyone know what they're called? I remember them. When I was a kid, there was a toy store opened in our little sleepy town in the south, down in Dorset. And it felt like I was suddenly in an American movie because we had an actual proper toy store opening. And the only way to get up to it was up an escalator. Wow, this was high-tech stuff. And the whole floor was all the latest toys. And of course, they had them all on display so that you could play them. And they had one of these, but it was £1,000 to buy. This was in the late 80s, early 90s. So it was monstrous. And all the kids would put their hands on it and hair would stand up. Maybe that's where it all went. And it was the best thing in the world. Van de Graaff generator, says Andrew. Thank you. Yeah. Sadly, the toy shop lasted about a year. Nobody bought anything, and it closed down and turned into a haberdashery.
And this is Raiden's sword, which is like in the game is like a crazy electrical thing that he uses, sort of embedded in this. I love this thing. I have used it in the background on live streams before, and I've used it. It's got 1 million hours in use, and it still works fantastic. I love it. Most collector's edition swag is terrible, but this is awesome, and it's not only one of the best collector's editions I've ever gotten, but I got it basically as a free upgrade. I never would have gotten this if it wasn't by mistake, which I think is so awesome. Yeah, these are apparently pretty hard to find now, but I have no intention of selling this thing because I want to keep it around for as long as I can. So, hope you enjoyed that. Another little oddity from my collection. And thanks for watching, and take care, guys. Hey, what's up, Cave Dwellers? It's Parallax
Thank you,
Abstraction.
Parallax Abstraction. Yes, Mark said yes, we did. So we did play at his house. That's a cool. I mean, as feelies go in games, that's a pretty cool one. I like it. Next up, it's a submission from Control Alt Reese. Gizmo really wants to be involved today. What are you doing, mate? Fully on the table. Okay, can I get to the mouse? Can I? No, she's rubbing her face on the other monitor. Right. I'll just work around you then. Here's Reese's submission.
Hello, Cave Dwellers.
Oh, hang on. Gizmo, I can't even see the screen now. Here we go. Right. Let's start that again.
Hello, Cave Dwellers, and welcome to my cave. If we haven't met before, my name's Reese, and for today's RMC live stream brought to you by the letter M, I thought I'd show you my Mr. Driller collection. Mr. Driller was an arcade game released by Japanese company Namco in 1999. Now, you might wonder if 99 qualifies as retro, but the game concept has actually been around a lot longer than that. In fact, Mr. Driller started life as Dig Dug 3.
Yeah, Dig Dug was great. When I was at college, Dig Dug was still in the arcade because it was a seaside town that just kept those arcade machines going well past their usual sell-by date, and I would always go and play Dig Dug.
Indeed, the main protagonist of the game, Susumu Hori, is the son of Taizo Hori, the main character from Dig Dug. If you're not familiar with it, the gameplay of the Mr. Driller games involves digging out coloured blocks which are somehow taking over the city while being sure to keep topped up on oxygen. Depending on which version of the game you play, there are various characters with different abilities. There are also a couple of sequels, Mr. Driller 2 and Mr. Driller G, which introduce some new gameplay elements like multiplayer. So here I have the official strategy guides for the three main arcade games. These were, of course, released.
I thought he was going to pull Doom out then.
In Japan, in Japanese. With my rudimentary Japanese language skills, I can't actually really read them. But they do have some nice pictures, and they also come with some nice stickers as well, which is always a good bonus.
Nice little screen up there.
I also have this promotional tote bag. It says not for sale on the back. I'm not really sure what it was launched to promote, but it's quite nice. I have these badges from the launch of Drill Land on the GameCube. I don't actually own that game because it was quite hard to come by, but I'm on the lookout for a copy. Incidentally, Drill Land is coming out on Steam on PC on June the 25th this year, so very much looking forward to that. I have this Mr. Driller phone charm. I'm not sure if that was from a vending machine or what, but that's a pretty cool little thing. And I have this phone card. If you remember payphones that take cards as payment, this is a brand new sealed Japanese phone card with Mr. Driller on it.
Nice. I've told this story before, so sorry if you've heard it, but I used to have a phone card that it wasn't a phone card with credit. It was a phone card that you would type in the number in and it would charge back to your home phone. So I had it, and if I was in an emergency, I could use it, not have to put any coins in the machine, all the rest of it. But because it itemized everything that you put on it, I thought it'd be a good idea to use it to for my dial-up internet connection, so that at the end of the month, all of my dial-up internet usage would be itemized on the BT bill. What I didn't realize was it charged you a premium to do it. So at the end of the month, when the bill came through, a BT charge card was it? When the bill came through, instead of my dad getting a nice itemized bill of my internet use, he did get an itemized bill of it, and he also got a £500 bill for my internet use in the mid-90s. Ouch. Took a long time to pay that off. Sorry, Dad.
On to the actual games, and I think we'll start at the beginning with the original arcade game. And it just so happens that I have the arcade PCB right here. The immediately obvious thing about this PCB is probably these Sony chips. And the reason for those is because this Namco System 12 arcade hardware is actually based on the original Sony PlayStation. The CPU is overclocked, so it's 50% faster than the PlayStation, and it has a slightly better sound chip, but other than that, it's identical. And this board conforms to the Jammer standard, which means I can use my super gun to get it hooked up to my TV. And to make life even easier, the board actually supports the JVS, which is Jammer Video standard, so it has a VGA video connector and RCA audio connectors. The Supergun uses a Neo Geo AES joystick and hooks up to a standard 4-pin Molex power connector, so I'm using a Pico PSU here with an ATX breakout board.
Have you ever thought, Reese, of consolising that into a nice little box of its own? I guess you use the Supergun for other boards as well. Yeah, Jammer is an acronym. I'm going to have to look at something like Japanese Arcade Machines or Amusement Machines Manufacturers Association. Bear with. Japanese Amusement Machine and Marketing Association. The Japanese Amusement Machine and Marketing Association is Jammer. There you go. It was on the video. Well, I've looked it up. We have to confirm these things. We can't take Reese at face value now, can we? Reese says I have too much random stuff. Also, notice here, this is the IBM NetVista that was sold on the charity auction that Reese so kindly bought.
I also have the Game Boy Color version here from the year 2000. This is actually one of my favourite versions of the game. It's cut down, but the core gameplay is there, and it has really cute low-res pixel art and a really nice Game Boy chiptune soundtrack. Well worth seeking out. After that came the Bandai WonderSwan version. I don't actually own a WonderSwan yet, but I suppose the box looks pretty. This one was a lot of fun once I finally got it working. It's the PC version from 2000, but due to the way languages work in Windows 9X, the installer is only compatible with the Japanese version of Windows. I didn't really want to have to reinstall Windows on my lovely NetVista just to play this game, so I found a way of installing it on my Windows 10 PC by installing the Japanese language pack and then manually copying the files over. This version is really nice actually, with high resolution graphics and direct 3D support. Back onto the handhelds, here's Mr. Driller A for the Game Boy Advance from 2002. This version was unique to the GBA and has a whole cool animated story.
Hello Chris, good to see you.
It's entirely in Japanese of course. The second and final Mr. Driller game for the GBA was Mr. Driller 2 in 2004 and was essentially the same as the other Mr. Driller 2 ports from that time. Mr. Driller Drill Spirits came along on the DS in 2004. Like a lot of DS games, it didn't really make amazing use of the second screen or the touch functionality, but it's a really good port, so I can't complain.
Hello,
Finally, I have the
Cillian
PlayStation
or
releases
Killian.
of the original Mr. Driller and Mr. Driller G.
Nice to see you.
I don't have a Japanese or chipped PlayStation, so I can't show you these running, but as the hardware was essentially identical to the arcade release, so was the gameplay and the graphics. They were released a year after their arcade counterparts. As with the majority of my game collection, I keep all of this in one of my cubby holes. Now, these cubby holes measure...
Yes, get the tape measure out.
35 by 33.
Oh, that wasn't quite straight, Reese, but we'll take it.
By 33 centimetres, which gives us approximately 38,115 cubic centimetres. I should probably spot it, I have a few Mr. Driller plushies knocking around as well. I used him as my avatar for the longest time, so I always have them hanging around in the background of my videos as a bit of an homage to the earlier days of my social media empire. So that's that. I hope you enjoyed my nomination for M, and I'm looking forward to what everyone else has to show us.
I did enjoy your nomination for M. Now, Reese is you'll notice that that was really slickly made. Reese does have a knack for video making, and he has said that he's going to go on to finish that video, if you like, turn it into a full episode on his channel. Here is his channel. 400 subscribers. I think we can do better than that, Reese. Let's give him a bit of a RMC hug. Come on, we've got 473 viewers here. We could double his subscriber base if you will go and subscribe. He makes some really good quality videos, and like I said, he's going to finish up that Mr. Driller video, so you can go and see a real complete history or a bit more information on all of those things. So, go sub. Let's see who we've got next. It's Mr. Green Fox from Brazil. A Sega Mega Drive 3. I wonder how much that one's cost reduced over the original. Let's find out. Well done everyone for subbing. Let's see what he's got.
Hello Cave Dwellers, Mr. Green Fox here, and today I bring you an M that was really important for me in my life. That's correct, my MSX.
Yes. Get that Mega Drive out of my face.
This, guys,
look at that.
Machine I actually use it to learn how to code, and because of that, this thing has a pretty special place in my heart. This MSX1 is made by a Brazilian brand named Gradiente. Full metal body.
Nice.
Mechanical keyboard. And ignore the fact that I'm using GPS as a screen. This machine is actually a pretty standard MSX1. In fact, I use MSX on a chip as a...
All the good stuff is under this square. And we've got a tape measure. Like, a tape measure is actually part of the BOM here. It's part of the system build. Tape measure built in. That's a first.
Main engine. And quite frankly, not only I learned the basics of coding, I also learned how to optimize code simply because of the limitations of the machine. And also, of course, I wasted way too much time just playing games. Like this one, for example, which I don't remember what my high score was, but I'm pretty rusty on it, that's for sure. So
You could do with a slightly bigger monitor, Mr. Green Fox.
So, don't kill me, I can do this on this machine. The system actually gave me lots and lots of hours of fun. And
it is a great form factor, isn't it, Castado? Looks really nice.
Quite frankly, I still love the thing. I just don't play with it that much because, quite frankly, yeah, I'm rusty and I have other things to do in life because I have modern consoles and stuff like that. Also emulators.
That's not an excuse, Mr. Ralph. Ralph, how have you just subscribed, Retrotech Ralph? Or did you unsubscribe and resubscribe? Mr. Green Fox, that's not an excuse for not using your retro. I've got modern consoles. Come on, man.
But that's it for me, guys. See you later.
Oh, that was the end. I mean, that is a lovely looking thing. That needs a CD-TV sat on top of it, doesn't it? And then an amplifier, and then a tape deck, and then a vinyl record player. That's a lovely looking machine. Anyone else got one of those? I've got MSXs, but they're all in the wedge form factor. Nothing like that. Next up, it is the man himself who has just subscribed to the channel. It's Retrotech Ralph. And a clean, yes, you're right, Chris. Give that a wipe, Mr. Green Fox. And is that 2 cartridge slots? It does look like it's got 2 cart slots and then the floppy drive, which is nice. Now, this is Ralph, who has given us a tour of his cave in the past. So this is his letter M submission. He gets a point for the RMC calendar. He has a Derek Findas picture. We've got tape measures. We've got a mug.
Congratulations.
Okay, I think we're ready to start. Pixels, I do hope I have your M video too. I'm not seeing it in my list, so I'll have to dip into the email because I know you sent that weeks ago. Hello, Ralph. Oh, I should probably turn the volume on. There we go.
Hello, Neil.
Hello, Ralph.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, mate.
Hi, cave dwellers.
They say hello.
Ralph here. Right, for my M video, I'm a little bit late to this, hence the shameless top shelf there. My M video for the games I used to play has to be Moon Patrol for the 2600. It's a brilliant game. Never played it on the arcade, but when it comes round to Expo, if there's an Expo on, then I'll be looking out to try and play this on the proper arcade machine. Now, it's a brilliant little game. You go over holes and shoot spaceships. There's only like 4 levels, and it recaps on itself anyway. But yes,
Russell, you're up next.
I've had an earworm for a long time, and I'll show you what I mean. I've got 2600 here, right up to the TV. Now, turn her on. Screen comes up. It might not be the right colours. I'm not sure there's a problem with this one anyway. Hence why I like to fix them. You play the game. And you crash. But my earworm was something, and I cannot figure out exactly where it came from. There was something I had of music, and I swore that it was part of this. And I don't know whether or not anybody realised, but on the 2600, turn it on. But you put the difficulty to A, fire. This is my earworm. For 30 odd years, maybe more than that.
Is that the same as the arcade music?
Stuck in there, and I could not until I figured out that it's actually you're playing music on the hard level on the 2600. But it's a brilliant game. I'll try and play it, shall I? If you can see it. Jump. Fire.
That's a very familiar
1,
tune.
2, 3, 4, 5 levels to do to get to the end.
Looked like he was going to drop an F-bomb there, Ralph. Right, I've got here a link to the original arcade music. Let's just check that, because I think that sounds really familiar. Yeah, it is. That's what it sounds like on the arcade. Only coming out one channel for some reason, so sorry about that. It's not bad little rendition. Anyway, back to Ralph. Uncanny, Ralph. Uncanny.
And I don't know why it's still stuck in my head from all that time ago. Because it's not that good of music either. It's very repetitive and annoying. Oh, nearly.
Mumbo's left ear is pleased.
And the end of here. First part level. So, there's my M video, Moon Patrol, Tower 2600. Now back to the studio.
Yes, back to the studio. That's the first back to the studio we've had tonight. Thank you, Ralph. That's a great, not only submission, but also air horn fact. And Ralph, of course, is a YouTuber. Today, he hit 1,000 subscribers. And because I'm logged into my second channel, I can give him another sub. There you go, Ralph. And I will stick that in the chat if you do want to go and give Ralph a sub and find out more Moon Patrol facts. Look, I can also subscribe to... It says I should subscribe to Retro Box Room, who's in the chat, Pints and Amigas. Oh, I'm already subscribed. Don't want to unsubscribe. We'll give Derek a sub. We'll give Morgan just... So everyone gets a sub. Oh, I can subscribe to myself. No, I'm already subscribed. Howard, Dan, you all get subs. Am I subscribed? I don't know who Paul Jenkinson is, but he gets a sub. Hang on, I must check out Paul Jenkinson. Oh, it's the Spectrum Show. Of course it is. I do know who that is. And subscribe from yourself. So thank you, Ralph. Next up is Russell. We are rapidly working through the videos now. Blimey, we've been over an hour. So I think we'll just get through the last 3 M games, and then all remaining tours will be shuffled over to tomorrow, if that's okay with you guys. M for Mortal Kombat, it had to be in here.
What Cave Dwellers?
What
it was going to be. I'm sure I'm one of several people who has sent this one in. It is, of course, Mortal Kombat.
Now, I did have the PC version, and it was an impressive version.
Now, this is the box for the PC version, but within...
Oh.
We have the Amiga discs, the PC discs.
I think that was in Spanish, it said.
And the Amiga manual. I have absolutely no idea why these are all mixed up. Next up, it won 92% Amiga format gold, and inside you could win a genuine Mortal Kombat 2 arcade machine. Yes, it's Mortal Kombat 2. Inside this one, it appears to have turned into a dumping ground for many, many things. But it does have 2 of the discs. And because my 1 meg, well, my half meg expansion for my A500 is actually kaput, I think it's completely busted, I can't run this yet.
No.
And the next up is this rather odd little game which came with my Amiga 500 back in 1991 or whenever it is we got it. It's a puzzle game, but it's incredibly annoying. And last but not least, a little piece of hardware, something I was so pleased to get in Christmas of 1993, I would assume. It's Megalo Sound. It's my little sampler for my A500. It's got a couple of phono inputs on it there. And I can't remember which port that goes into. I really do hope this still works, because the Megalo Sound software that came with it, you could actually, you could add reverb and delay to things, and you could sample stuff and put it into Optimed and make music out of it. A lot of good memories about this little box. But yes,
evening
until tomorrow. when I shall be going through a couple more discs in this little pile here.
Oh, he's teasing us with his video.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
Not going to measure anything. Just there it is.
Just going to put it on the table. There it is. I got a tape measure. Deal with it. Doesn't even feel the need to show it off. Or clean it. There it is. Thank you. Yes, Reese, it's a cliffhanger. It really is a cliffhanger. So, more hot floppy disk action tomorrow from Russell. Next up is our good friend Tim.
Hi, Tim here for the letter M.
I think he needs a little more volume.
Hi, Tim here for the
there
letter
he is.
M.
Another part of his keyboard destroyed.
Yeah, it was quite a struggle, M, because there's some really great
Hello, Lalisa.
games throughout the years that start in the letter
Desmond,
M.
do you want to go out?
So, after some thought, I settled on a series which I didn't really play much before.
Oh, I'm surprised we didn't get a Metroid earlier.
That is Metroid.
Tim always comes up with the goods.
Because, yeah, it's... Okay, hang on a second.
I thought something had gone wrong with the video. Is this you, Tim?
All right, mate. Show us what you think is the best letter M, then. Hang on. Let me just clear this stuff out of the way.
What is going on?
You'll need a bit of a run-up, I guess. Hang on. Put my M over there so you don't make a mess of it.
Thank you, Chris, for the sub.
All right, then. Over to you, mate.
Stop motion animation has entered the game.
Whoa, hang on a minute. Yeah. Super Mario Kart. Yeah. I know your name's M for Mario, but Super starts with an S. Come back then. Right. Oh. Okay. All right. You can have a second go then. Hang on.
It's me, Mario!
Tim has officially lost the plot.
Yeah, no. I mean, that passed the test for the M, but I hate to break it to you. I was never that...
Thank you, Tai Tai, for the sub.
Handheld versions of it. Nothing wrong with them, just best memories are from the console era. So let me get back to my Metroid. Oh, all right, for crying out loud. All right, one more. This is it. Last one now.
Oh, now that is a good one.
Okay, sorry about that interruption.
How long did this take you,
He
Tim?
has a point, after all. I mean, yeah. Mario Kart 64 was an awesome game, and one that we played an awful lot, and I think both my son and daughter would probably give me a hard time if I didn't pick this for my M. So, thanks, mate. I appreciate the help you gave me there. I still think there's some other fantastic M's, Metroid and Medal of Honor. And
let's not forget Metroid.
Okay, I'll settle on this one because, well, I can't after all that work you put in driving around like that. Anyway, that's my M. See you for the N.
We so very nearly got Metroid, but it didn't happen. Yeah, Mario Kart 64. Get your Mario Kart 64, get your GoldenEye. That's all you needed. When I was at college, those two games were all we needed. We went to our lessons, we skived off, and that would keep us entertained for weeks. Great choice of game. And do you know what? The original, well, not the original. Yeah, the original Super Nintendo. That was the first Mario Kart, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Super Nintendo Mario Kart. That was the first one. And it's still infinitely playable. And the mechanics still feel so familiar. If you play that and then you play the Switch version right after, it feels like you're playing exactly the same game. It's so tight. It's brilliant. It's Dave Velociraptor. Here you go, Dave. Oh, Dave needs to build his computer before he can actually show us anything on it.
So just a quick one today. This is a mongrel.
Oh.
This is a remake of the Atari STF board. You would usually see it as an STFM, which meant it had a modulator, but these days there's little call for a modulator. This is a replacement board, and the same idea as you might have seen Neil's video on the A500++ by Rob. This is one where there's been a few changes made to it, just for ease of use. There's extra stuff on there that you'll be able to add in if people develop it. For example, the memory can now be a 4 megabyte 72-pin SIM, which makes it really easy to add rather than memory chips, etc. And stuff like that and so on as an extra there. You might notice a blitter there. The Mega ST had a blitter, and the TOS works in that, so it can use a blitter, although it won't do STE stuff. I bought this last year, and I've not had a chance to do anything with it. I've been very, very busy, but now at some point I will build it.
Oh, look at that.
However,
teasing
I'm not
us.
sure if this is the version I should use. I should wait until he brings out one that has all the mistakes fixed in it. Anyway, thanks very much, Cave Dwellers. Back to you in the studio, Neil.
Hey, back to the studio. That is incredibly cool. When I did the A500++ build, it was a hell of a slog, but of course the A500 means so much to me. It was just fantastic to be able to build one and have it working at the end. And I know the Atari ST range means a huge amount to Dave, so I'm sure he will get around to building that. Where the A500++ was a straight up reverse engineered copy, that looks like it's been completely relayed out. You know, they've taken the original idea and just refined it, made it better, taking out things like the TV modulator, which I know was Rob's idea with the 500 eventually, is to rework things, but he wanted to start with that baseline template of the original. That looks great. Now Pixels, I am just gonna, that's the last video that I've got. I've got Ali's Pie Boy Teardown. Let's play that while I'm looking for Pixels' video, because I don't want him to miss out today. Let me just bring that up. Let's give you the audio.
Hello again, Cave Dwellers. It's Alistair here.
Retromancave@gmail.com is how you submit your videos. Today is the letter N for November. So your letter N games, your cave tours, your show and tells, anything really. Yeah, retromancave@gmail.com.
After my last show and tell, which was my Retro Man bag, I mentioned in the comments that I could maybe do a teardown and a second show and tell of the Pi in a Game Boy Pocket shell. As I said on the other video, this shell and everything in it is completely new. There's no pre-existing Game Boy Pocket that's had to be sacrificed for this. All the parts are completely new off of eBay or AliExpress. The shell's a reproduction. There's a cartridge in the back, which is, as you can see, it's not a real cartridge. It's got the old game on it, and the quality of these isn't particularly great. It's very cheap plastic, and it's much softer than an original shell would be, and the plastic isn't anywhere near as good. But yeah, this is what we have. So inside, as I said before, there's a Raspberry Pi Zero, which is underneath the cartridge there, and
it's got a great screen on
there's
it.
A few different emulators on there, as anybody familiar with RetroPie will know. Just trying to get the screen to pick it up a little bit better. There we go. If I just scroll back around to Mega Drive, and we'll load up Golden Axe here. It's not particularly loud. It's one of the more quiet consoles. I'm still trying to work on how to get a decent amount of sound out of the thing. There's a pretty weeny little...
Pillock, this is a Pi Boy. So a RetroPie Nano in a purpose-built case.
Little speaker, but trying to work on it. I'll just let it run through the demo.
I know this is a work in progress, so just a little bit more bezel just to hide that gap there, and that would be perfection because the screen itself looks great quality. Philip is a Pi Boy. Yeah, I think it is a Pi Zero, Matt. It's got to be to fit in that shell, hasn't it? Yeah. I'm pretty sure Alistair said it was a Zero. I mean, it's such a nice way if you've got a really well-built handheld like that that's running RetroPie to run probably all of the 8 and 16-bit consoles. Your only limitation is, have you got enough buttons?
Well, I'm sure you've all seen Golden Axe a million times, so
4 buttons. It's enough for most.
That, let's shut it down and do the teardown.
Oh, we'll get to see inside. All right.
So now a quick disassembly montage here. The aftermarket shells come with regular Phillips screws, so no messing with tri-wing screwdrivers. And 2 at the top next
Too
to the
small for us
cartridge.
blind kids, says Mike.
The
You
2
need
mid-body screw
one of
holes
those.
where I've chosen to put the L and R buttons, so the 2 remaining screws are inside the battery bay.
You need one of those original Game Boy
And there's the
magnifiers.
reveal. Here you can see all the internal cuts to make space for all the extras not built onto the board. The non-original cartridge shell is glued in place before being cut away. Then 2 more screws holding the PCB to the front case.
He is quick, isn't he? Speed of that man.
So if I lift the main board out, you can see there's provisions for 6 face buttons if you wanted.
Oh, there is face
Here are
buttons.
the cuts made to the front shell surround to accommodate the new screen along the side and the bottom. This is the trimmed membrane for the 2 extra buttons with 2 holes drilled and a 3D printed guide glued in place.
Speaking of which, I've left my 3D
Now,
printer
just disconnect the battery
doing a
before I start
14-hour
poking around
print
the
tonight.
screwdriver.
Hopefully it
A lot
doesn't
of what's
burn the
here is
office
additional
down.
mods to the project, which is why it's all a bit here and there. The Pi Zero is soldered directly to the main board with the SD slot sticking out of the side. On the sides here are the tack switches for the L and R buttons.
Nice.
Nice and clicky.
Genuine.
Under this wire here is a typical eBay LiPo battery charge module. This purple board here is a A to D converter for reading battery voltage for battery level monitoring, which is in an on-screen overlay.
Oh, cool. Yes, Fred.
And
No, it's
finally,
running
this
stock
is
at the
the
moment,
sound
Fred.
amp and an additional filter to clean up the PWM audio, which feeds the headphone jack and speaker. Thanks for watching the Teardown Dwellers, and there's just one more thing. The Game Boy Pocket is 77.61
Yes.
millimeters wide. Back to you in the studio, Neil.
Yes, we've got a third back to you in the studio. Awesome. That's a great little unit. I mean, there's something to be said for there are so many handhelds, emulation handhelds, all of these things. But there's something to be said for that just Game Boy form factor, isn't there? To have it in that style of package just makes it feel all that bit more authentic, doesn't it? I like it. And there is provision for 6 buttons, which would be a bit of a squeeze, but then you could play your Super Nintendo Street Fighter 2. And the case style only does mono sound. It's not really a problem, is it? Put your headphones in if you need to. Oh, I guess what you mean is, yeah, it mixes it down. Or it only does it. I don't know. I mean, how much stereo separation do you get on a Game Gear anyway, or any other form factor? Anyway, Pixels, I've had a look in my mailbox and I cannot see your M game. I'm very sorry. So we'll show it together. I've also got Alan's M game has come in. A couple of other M games have come in while we've been chatting. So we'll start tomorrow because we always have so many after the weekend, which is great. So we'll start tomorrow with M games. If you want to send me a video of your N games, retromancave@gmail.com. We've got 469 viewers right now. This is the most we've ever had. If you're new here, please do press subscribe. Or head over to my other YouTube channel, which I will put a link in for now. I really should have these ready and pasted, shouldn't I? YouTube. There it is. Click on that link and hit subscribe to the main channel for weekly videos. The live stuff happens here. And check any video description for a link to the Discord server where the chat carries on forever after the live streams and all of the other good stuff that happens in RMC. Alistair, you did miss you. But thank you, we really enjoyed it. Thank you, Fred. Well, that's enough for tonight. I'll see you the same time tomorrow, everyone. Take care. And have a lovely evening. It is the longest stream so far, so we better wrap it up. Take care, everyone. You're awesome. Bye-bye. He's waving.